Good afternoon. I am Professor Civil Engineering Harish Kumar, Iritam. So today we are going to have webinar on vigilance angle and case studies. It is rightly said that integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Vigilance is not just a function, it is the backbone of good governance. So today's webinar on vigilance angle and case studies in railways, it aims to deepen our understanding of preventive vigilance and learn from real life case studies to strengthen ethical practices in railway operations. In a system as vast as dynamic as the railways, even small lapses can lead to significant consequences. That's why vigilance is not merely a department but a responsibility shared by all. So today, through this webinar, we will explore key insights and lessons drawn from practical experiences. Today we have our domain expert, Shri P.K. Sinha sir. I welcome Shri P.K. Sinha sir to this webinar session. Sir is presently holding the SDGM and CBO in ECR. He is 1992 IRSS. Sir has wide and very long, rich experience. He has held various designations and responsibilities. He was Deputy CBO stores in Hajipur. He has also held the designation of ADRM, PCMM. Sir has worked as DRM Salem in Southern Railway, and presently he is having the designation of SDGM and CBO ECR. I expect all the participants to be very keen and participative in this webinar. All we are working in the field or have worked in the field, and we have different types of experiences to share also and to learn also. So I just invite sir to kindly take over from me here. The session is up to 17 hours. It is of 2 hours duration. So, sir will start this webinar, and at the end, we will be having question answer session. So, at that time, he will respond to the queries or questions to the participants. In the meantime, also, if somebody is having some specific query, then we can have discussion over that. So, I invite Sri P.K. Sinha sir to kindly take over from me. Sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I must appreciate your efforts, Mr.
Sir.
Harish, for inviting me for this lecture webinar. I was also looking for an opportunity to interact with many people, officers working as executives, because I have worked as executive also and in vigilance also. So this my presentation will be around more than 1 hour, and then we'll have question answer session. And the presentation is mainly on what is vigilance angle, how it has been defined in vigilance manual, and some case studies from different fields. So now I am sharing my slides. So this is the topic, vigilance angle and case studies. Now, as you know, vigilance is a shared responsibility. Last year, this 2025, the CVC also, this was the topic and main theme, that vigilance is a shared responsibility. It is not an activity solely for designated vigilance officers. It is the duty of all executives and officials working in the organization. Every individual must take an active role in maintaining ethical standards, preventing misconduct, and reporting wrongdoing. This reporting is also very important. Unless somebody reports, it does not come to the knowledge of vigilance. So this reporting is also important nowadays. Now this collective approach is very important, or you see this, or because of this wider approach, all employees, officials and citizens are the eyes and ears on the ground, making them critical first level detectors of the problem. So unless everybody is active, it is very difficult, and collective approach is very, very important here. Then the working culture should be ethical, and every member of an organization starts practicing honesty and transparency. It creates a moral and ethical culture that makes corrupt or unethical behavior the exception and not the norm. Now, what happens कि whenever somebody is taken up, he starts telling कि साहब ये तो और भी लोग करते हैं, पता नहीं why, I don't know why I am being pinpointed. ये तो यहाँ का norm है. So, our working culture should be such that the ethical behavior that has to be a normal routine, and any deviation should be exception, not the norm. Like you say, you can take an example of some foreign countries like Japan or some any other country where the normal behavior is ethical. People are working in a very conducive and ethical behavior, and anything is deviated from them there, then that becomes exception. Then systematic improvements, simplifying the procedures, closing the loopholes, and innovative digital initiatives. Now, in the world of digital initiatives, whatever is possible, we are trying to do digitally so that manual intervention is minimum and the chances is also minimum. Empowering the stakeholders. When stakeholders are aware of their rights and duties, they will demand more accountability and report the issues fearlessly, without fear. That is important, and that makes it a collective approach. Increase in output. The reduction in corrupt practices and unethical behavior will automatically bring efficient result. Now, there are different constituents in any organization. So, everybody, all the constituents have a role to play, like management. What is the role of the management? Management's role is for creating an environment that promotes ethical behavior and ensures transparent processes. Now comes the employees. Each employee is expected to be vigilant by adhering to conduct rules, reporting misconduct, and not participating in unethical practices. Vigilant employee ensure the day-to-day work is carried out with integrity. That is also very important. After that, the role comes with vigilance department. Nowadays, the main focus of vigilance department is to have systematic improvements, capacity building, and investigating serious misconduct based on the information from various sources. This punitive part is the last one. This example we can give in our society also. In society also, this shared vigilance, same role model we can utilize here also. On a larger scale, this shared responsibility extends beyond organization to the public at large. Here, in place of employee, here comes the citizen of the country. A vigilant citizen monitor the action of its government and holds its leaders accountable for transparent and ethical governance. Then media and NGOs, they serve as external watchdogs, bringing public attention to potential corruption and advocating for systematic reforms. Then businesses, the private sector also has a responsibility to adhere to ethical practices without resorting to corruption to gain an unfair advantage. Now, the main function of vigilance that everybody knows, and there is nothing to show here. But what I want to say here that the first role is participatory. By giving vigilance education, promoting use of technology. This part nowadays we are focusing more and more education, you can say, or you can say use of technology wherever possible. So this vigilance organization is doing. Then preventive, suggesting system improvements, conducting checks, and last the role is punitive. जब जहां पे कुछ नहीं चल पा रहा है वहां कुछ तो करना होगा, समथिंग हैज टू बी डन. देन तो ऐसे केसेज में दिस डिसिप्लिनिंग द रॉन्ग डूअर्स, डिटरेंट इफेक्ट ऑन प्रोस्पेक्टिव ऑफेंडर्स. अब सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है ये विजिलेंस एंगल. ये डे टू डे में जब भी हम लोग व्हाट एवर वी डू, हमारे यहाँ भी कोई भी फाइल आती है तो ये होता है कि साहब इसमें विजिलेंस एंगल है कि नहीं, व्हाट इज विजिलेंस एंगल. तो जो हमारे लिए जो मेन बाइबल है फॉर विजिलेंस डिपार्टमेंट वो है इंडियन रेलवे विजिलेंस मैनुअल और सेंट्रल विजिलेंस कमीशन. उनके डायरेक्टिव्स पे वी आर डूइंग दी वर्किंग. एंड इसमें द फर्स्ट थिंग इज दैट द कमीशन, Central Vigilance Commission, gives advice only in such cases in which there is a vigilance angle. In other cases where it concludes that the lapses do not attract vigilance angle, necessary disciplinary action will have to be taken by the concerned disciplinary authority under conduct disciplinary rules as deemed appropriate. तो जहां पे विजिलेंस एंगल आ गया वहां पे तो सीवीसी विल रेंडर देयर एडवाइस. अदरवाइज दे एक्सपेक्ट कि जहां पे विजिलेंस एंगल नहीं है वहां पे जो भी एग्जीक्यूटिव हैं और डिसिप्लिनरी अथॉरिटी हैं वो अपने कंडक्ट रूल में या डिसिप्लिनरी रूल में जैसा भी उनको अप्रोप्रिएट लगता है उस पे वो एक्शन लें. Commission's advice shall normally be honored by disciplinary authority. Speaking orders of authorities have to be drafted with insight and after due application of mind with facts. Any misplaced sympathy should be avoided. यहाँ पे I have used the word any misplaced sympathy. Misplaced sympathy क्या है कि we have seen in a lot of cases कि कागज पे रिकॉर्ड्स, डॉक्यूमेंट्री एविडेंस वो किसी भी चार्ज ऑफिशियल से अगेंस्ट है. कागज पे दिख रहा है कि किसी ने गलती की है, बट जब उनके डीए के पास जाता है या कंट्रोलिंग ऑफिसर के पास जाता है तो उनकी एक टेंडेंसी होती है सिंपैथी दिखाने की, जो कि सिंपैथी बेस्ड ऑन नॉट बेस्ड ऑन एनी डॉक्यूमेंट्स, वो एक साइकोलॉजिकल होता है, तो उसको मिसप्लेस सिंपैथी कहते हैं. तो यहाँ पे ये वर्ड यूज किया गया है कि मिसप्लेस सिंपैथी शुड बी अवॉइडेड. कागज जो कहता है डॉक्यूमेंट जो कहता है वो आपको करना है। और इसमें ए डेलिकेट बैलेंस हैज टू बी मेंटेन्ड व्हाइल डिसीजन मेकिंग। इसका जो प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि गिल्टी को तो पनिश करना है स्विफ्टली, लेकिन इनोसेंट्स को हर हालत में प्रोटेक्ट करना है। दैट इज द मेन एम। अब ये जो विजिलेंस एंगल है, इसका डेफिनेशन जो IRBM है उसमें पारा एक 512 है। उसमें कुछ सर्टेन पॉइंट्स दिए हुए हैं जहां पे देर एक क्लियर कट जैसे विजिलेंस एंगल है। विजिलेंस एंगल इज ऑब्वियस इन द फॉलोइंग एक्ट्स: demanding and or accepting gratification other than legal remuneration in respect of an official act or for using his influence with any other official। इसमें क्लियर कट विजिलेंस एंगल है। then obtaining valuable thing without consideration or with adequate consideration from a person with whom he has or is likely to have official dealings or his subordinates have official dealings or where he can exert influence। ऐसे केसेज में विजिलेंस एंगल obvious। and obtaining for himself or for any other person any valuable thing or pecuniary advantage by corrupt or illegal means or by abusing his position as a public servant। possession of assets disproportionate to his known sources of income। ये दिस इज वेरी पॉपुलर टर्म, और ये जहां पे भी है उसमें देयर इज ए क्लियर कट विजिलेंस एंगल। इन केसेज ऑफ मिसअप्रोप्रिएशन, फोर्जरी और चीटिंग और अदर सिमिलर क्रिमिनल ऑफेंसेस, certain irregularities where disciplinary authority with the help of chief vigilance officer come to a conclusion whether there is a reasonable ground to doubt the integrity of the officer concerned। कुछ ऐसे केसेज होते हैं जिसमें ज्वाइंटली ये डिसीजन लेना होता है कि विजिलेंस एंगल है कि नहीं। वैसे केसेज में एग्जाम्पल है जैसे ग्रॉस और विलफुल नेग्लिजेंस, recklessness in decision making, blatant violations of systems and procedures, exercise of discretion in excess where no ostensible public interest is evident। ये ऐसे केसेज हैं जिसमें विजिलेंस एंगल हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है। ये DA को और CBO को ज्वाइंटली डिसाइड करना है। and failure to keep the controlling authority superiors informed of required transaction and issues in time। This is another area जिसमें jointly decision लेना है। cause of undue loss or a concomitant gain to an individual or a set of individuals, public, a party or parties। any undue unjustified delay in the disposal of a case perceived after considering all relevant factors would reinforce a conclusion as to presence of vigilance angle in a case। ये जो अनड्यू या अनजस्टिफाइड डिले हो रहा है किसी केस के डिस्पोजल में, इसको भी आपको नाप तौल करके देखना है कि उसके चलते उसमें क्या कोई विजिलेंस एंगल है कि नहीं है। ये ज्वाइंटली डिसाइड करना है आफ्टर सीइंग ऑल द फैक्टर्स। Now the purpose of vigilance activity is not to reduce but to enhance the level of managerial efficiency and effectiveness in the organization। ये तो everybody knows, और विजिलेंस वाले भी हमेशा बोलते रहते हैं कि हमारा काम जो है वो काम को किसी काम को रोकना, सिस्टम की एफिशिएंसी को बढ़ाना है। ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है। ये जो अगला पॉइंट है, every loss to the organization should not be viewed with doubts। कोई भी लॉस अगर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को हो रहा है तो उस पर आपको हमेशा शक नहीं करना है। वहां पे ये देखना है कि whether a man of common prudence working within the ambit of the prescribed rules, regulations, and instructions, would have taken the decision in the prevailing circumstances in commercial oblique operational interest of the organization. ये अगर कोई भी एक कॉमन प्रूडेंस का आदमी होगा तो वो रूल रेगुलेशन के अंदर उस परिस्थिति में क्या सेम डिसीजन लिया होता? अगर वो लिया होता तो देयर इज नो विजिलेंस एंगल, और अगर इसका जवाब ना में है देन देयर इज अ विजिलेंस एंगल. एक और इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है इसमें, it would be quite unfair to use the benefit of hindsight to question the technical merits of a managerial decision from the vigilance point of view. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि उस परिस्थिति में हम जो डिसीजन लेते हैं उस समय हमें लगता है कि ये बहुत सही डिसीजन, दिस इज द करेक्ट डिसीजन. बाद में 6 महीने बाद, साल भर बाद जब पोस्टमार्टम करते हैं तब लगता है कि नहीं वो डिसीजन गलत था. तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए. किसी चीज को नाप तौल करने का हाइंडसाइट में आप जाके उसको क्वेश्चन अगर कर रहे हैं टेक्निकल मेरिट्स को, तो ये थोड़ा अनफेयर है, क्योंकि जो भी ऑफिसर कंसर्न्ड है वो उस परिस्थिति में उस दिन उसने वो डिसीजन लिया है. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एट द सेम टाइम इट वुड बी अनफेयर टू इग्नोर मोटिवेटेड और रेकलेस डिसीजन. ये भी बात सही है कि वो तो सही है साहब कि आप पोस्टमार्टम करके आप नहीं करेंगे, बट एट द सेम टाइम जो कोई भी मोटिवेटेड हो या रेकलेस डिसीजन हो और जिससे आपका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इंटरेस्ट डैमेज हो रहा है, उसको भी आप अनफेयर उसको इग्नोर भी नहीं कर सकते हैं. Therefore, a distinction has to be made between a business loss which has arisen as a consequence of a bona fide commercial oblique operational decision and an extraordinary loss which has occurred due to any malified, motivated or reckless performance of the duties. तो ये एक कह सकते हैं थिन लाइन है. इसमें ज्वाइंटली डिसीजन लेना होता है डीए को और सीबीओ को कि विजिलेंस एंगल है या नहीं है. इसमें ऑन द सेम मैटर एक ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट का एक डिसीजन है एक मिस्टर के धवन केस में. कोर्ट का कहना है कि आपको ये देखना है कि ऑफिसर वेदर द ऑफिसर हैड एक्टेड इन ए मैनर एज वुड रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन हिज रेपुटेशन फॉर इंटीग्रिटी, ऑन गुड फेथ और डिवोशन टू ड्यूटी. If there is a prima facie material to show recklessness or misconduct in discharge of his duty, if he has acted in a manner which is unbecoming of a government servant, ये भी देखना है. If he had acted negligently or that he omitted the prescribed conditions which are essential for the exercise of the statutory powers, then whether he had acted in order to unduly favor a party, ये भी देखना है. If he had actuated corrupt motive, however small the bribe may be, अगर ये सब है then vigilance angle है. तो ये हो गया, दिस इज रिगार्डिंग विजिलेंस एंगल. एक टॉपिक को और हमने टच किया है. बहुत सारे लोगों को ये रहता है, कंफ्यूजन रहता है, व्हाट इज एग्रीड एंड व्हाट इज सीक्रेट लिस्ट. तो आई थॉट कि थोड़ा सा इसको भी टच कर दें, एग्रीड एंड सीक्रेट लिस्ट. सीक्रेट लिस्ट जो है ये उसमें ऐसे ऑफिसर्स का नाम होता है, ऑफिसर्स अगेंस्ट whom a major penalty proceedings has been initiated or major penalty issued as a result of vigilance investigation. Officers against whom a court trial are in progress or he has been convicted for alleged acts involving lack of integrity or moral turpitude or officers who are prosecuted but acquitted on technical grounds, and in whose case, on the basis of evidence during the trial, there remained a reasonable suspicion against their integrity. Names once included in the secret list will not be removed until a period of 3 years has elapsed. तो जिनके अगेंस्ट में मेजर पेनल्टी चार्जशीट प्रोसीडिंग्स चलती रहती है या कोर्ट में जिनके अगेंस्ट में केस चलता रहता है, चार्जशीट फाइल हो गई है, तो उन लोगों के का नाम इसमें रखा जाता है और ये 3 साल तक रहता है. एग्रीड लिस्ट इज ए डिफरेंट लिस्ट. ये इज ए लिस्ट एग्रीड बोथ बाय विजिलेंस एंड सीबीआई. इसमें वैसे लोगों का नाम रखा जाता है जिनकी इंटीग्रिटी एंड ऑनेस्टी इज अंडर क्लाउड. It is prepared in consultation with the CBI every year. It is meant only for the purpose of intensive vigilance and carrying out preventive checks. अब एक बार नाम अगर किसी का आ गया इस लिस्ट में तो इनको सेंसिटिव पोस्ट पे नहीं रखा जा सकता है. नॉट बी नॉमिनेटेड फॉर एनी सिलेक्शन कमिटी. टेंडर कमिटी में दे कैनॉट पार्टिसिपेट. Non-appointment as arbitrator, non-nomination as inquiry officers, non-sponsoring for foreign assignment deputations, usual permission for commercial for re-employment after retirement, usual for re-employment in public sector undertakings. एक इशू और है जो मैं डिस्कस करना चाह रहा था कि किस तरह के कंप्लेंट्स नॉर्मली जोनल विजिलेंस में आते हैं. ये ऑलमोस्ट सारे रेलवे का हमने डिस्कस करके ये लिस्ट बनाया है, ये जो हमेशा आते हैं. मोस्ट ऑफ द कंप्लेंट्स जो आते हैं, ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग ऑफ एम्प्लॉय not being released even after transfer order, not being transferred even after many years on sensitive post, irregularity in selection, seniority list, promotion, establishment matters हैं ये सब. Then delay in processing of the file and demand of illegal gratification, irregularities in medical examination, IME, PME, medical decategorization, then acquisition of immovable properties, violation of conduct rule, wrong awarding of tenders, poor execution, compromised quality, compassionate ground cases, allotment of catering stalls, parking stand to ineligible bidders, then demand of illegal gratification in mass contact area, quality of OBHS, linen and food in trains, excess payment in execution of work. These are some of the areas. Now, some important case studies I will like to discuss. ये तो केस स्टडी में थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्टिंग होता है, अदरवाइज तो थोड़ा सा लोगों का इंटरेस्ट थ्योरेटिकल पार्ट में कम होता है. तो आई ट्राई टू यहाँ पे जितना मैक्सिमम हो सकता है हमने केस स्टडी डिस्कस करने का ये कोशिश किया है. इसमें जो ट्रेन में जो चेक किया जाता है ये उसमें ये तो मास कॉन्टैक्ट एरिया का है. ये इसमें जब भी चेक कीजिए ये तो कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस है, इसको करते रहना है. तो एक हम लोगों ने एक चेक किया था, एक ट्रेन है सप्त क्रांति एक्सप्रेस. इसमें ये चेक किया गया कि पेंट्री कार में अनऑथराइज्ड लोग ट्रैवल कर रहे थे. हम लोगों को सूचना मिली थी तो हम लोगों ने चेक किया तो ये पाया कि 39 unauthorized passengers they are traveling inside the pantry car. कुछ लोग तो जो पेंट्री कार के नॉमिनेटेड बर्थ होते हैं स्टाफ के उस पे पाए गए, समवेयर फाउंड नियर किचन एरिया. और ड्यूरिंग इन्वेस्टिगेशन it was noticed that the pantry car manager allowed them in the pantry car after receiving 1500 rupees each from passengers. So out of 39 unauthorized passengers, 32 passengers were regularized by issuing EFT by onboard train superintendent. Rest 7 passengers who failed to pay the excess fare were handed over to RPF. Total 1.41 lakh was realized on regularizing the above 32 passengers. इसके बाद हम लोगों ने एक सिस्टम इम्प्रूवमेंट अपने रेलवे में करवाया कि जो पेंट्री कार है वो किसी टीटी को नॉमिनेटेड नहीं होता है फॉर चेक. तो हम लोगों ने ये एक सिस्टम इम्प्रूवमेंट करवाया कि जो नियरेस्ट कोच का जो टीटी है वो उसको ये अलॉट किया जाता है, वो पेंट्री कार में वो चेक करेगा और अनऑथराइज्ड लोगों को इट विल स्टॉप फ्रॉम ट्रैवलिंग. उसका विजुअल्स है, पेपर कटिंग. एक दूसरा चेक हम लोगों ने एक संपूर्ण क्रांति एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन है 1239. इसमें द एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द चेक वाज टू वेरीफाई द पर्सनल कैश एज वेल एज द गवर्नमेंट कैश हेल्ड बाय द टिकट चेकिंग स्टाफ परफॉर्मिंग द ड्यूटी इन द ट्रेन. In course of the check, unclaimed amount of 26,300 was found thrown under a berth in the pantry car. When checking जब हो रहा था तो उस लोगों ने क्या किया, जो इलीगल पैसा लेके चल रहे थे उन्होंने पैसा को फेंक दिया और बाद में ये दिस वाज सब्सिक्वेंटली डिपॉजिटेड इन द रेलवे अकाउंट थ्रू MI. During the check, 7,210 and 1,900 were found excess as declared at private cash. तो तीनों लोगों को मेजर पेनल्टी में. Third case is this embezzlement of scrap. During a vigilance check, parts of condemned locomotives lying at a remote location was found embezzled with the connivance of executives and security personnel. After the matter came into light, security personnel lodged a case against उनका एक सिट्रेप होता सिस्टम रिपोर्ट मेंशनिंग नेम ऑफ 8 persons as accused was sent. But later on, under the pressure of the higher security officer, name of one person was removed. The second sitrep was then issued in the same case in which only 7 accused were named. उसके बाद after 17 days, the case was registered in the FIR. इसमें to reach a logical conclusion, some documents were got tested from Central Forensic Science Laboratory. Explanation of 3 officers and 14 officials were taken. Call details, records of suspect and CCTV footage were also checked. इसमें केस ऐसा था कि लोगों के स्पेयर पार्ट्स लाइन पे पड़े हुए थे और लोको शेड से उस पार्ट्स को कट करके लाने के लिए लोगों की बुकिंग हो रही थी और ट्रक गया था, ट्रक जाता था और सामान लेके आता था. बट ट्रक जो है सामान के साथ नहीं आता था. सामान को कहीं इन लोगों ने रास्ते में ही कहीं बेच दिया और खाली ट्रक आता था और उसकी एंट्री हो जाती थी, वो कागज पे दिखा देते थे. तो जब हम लोगों ने डिटेल सारा चेक किया, सीसीटीवी और सारा एंट्री, तो पता चला कि ट्रक तो सामान तो उधर ही इन लोगों ने बेच दिया और केवल ट्रक खाली आ रहा है. तो फाइनली हम लोगों ने इसमें डिटेल इन्वेस्टिगेशन के बाद 4 ऑफिशियल्स एंड 2 ऑफिसर्स ऑफ लोको शेड सिक्योरिटी ब्रांच वर फाउंड रिस्पांसिबल. DR actions have been recommended against them. ये पेपर कटिंग है कुछ. ये केस है irregularity in accounting of released scrap. दिस इज वन एरिया जहाँ पे कि हमेशा पैन इंडिया लेवल पे ये लोकल विजिलेंस केस पकड़ती रहती है और ये कंटिन्यूअसली हम लोगों को करना होता है. ड्यूरिंग स्क्रूटनी ऑफ फेल रिपोर्ट एंड IMMS, a lot consisting of ferrous and non-ferrous scrap was found to be sold by a unit at a very high rate. जो नॉर्मल सोल्ड रेट है उससे ज्यादा रेट पे इसका सेल हुआ था स्क्रैप का. तो हम लोगों को डाउट हुआ कि इतना हाई रेट पे कैसे इसको बेचा जा रहा है. तो देन वी थॉट कि हो ना हो डिलीवरी में मटेरियल ज्यादा दिया जा रहा है. देन हम लोगों ने इसको चेक किया और जो सोल्ड लॉट था उसका रीपेमेंट कराया तो पता चला कि जो डिक्लेयर्ड लॉट था वो 5 मेट्रिक टन फेरस स्क्रैप था और 2.058 मेट्रिक टन नॉन फेरस स्क्रैप था जिसका की वैल्यू 16.13 लाख था. बट ड्यूरिंग विजिलेंस चेक द सोल्ड लॉट वाज रीवेड इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट विटनेस. The quantity in the lot was detected as 5 metric ton ferrous scrap and 4.448 metric ton non-ferrous scrap. तो फेरस तो उतना ही था बट नॉन फेरस देखिए डबल था जिसका वैल्यू जो है 16 लाख की जगह 32 लाख था. तो ये वी स्टॉप दिस ह्यूज लीकेज ऑफ रेलवे प्रॉपर्टी. ये जब रीपेमेंट है उस समय का कुछ फोटोग्राफ्स हैं. This is one case study of discrepancy in scrap delivery. During a vigilance check in a unit, a vehicle loaded with scrap material for delivery to the purchaser was checked. Loading was witnessed by all concerned, custodian, stock verifier, RPF personnel and purchasers representative. Vigilance team got the vehicle unloaded in presence of all the above witnesses. After unloading of vehicle, ये following scrap material other than mentioned in SRO, वो इतना मिला एक्सेस. EM पैड 1405 kg, मिसलेनियस MS स्क्रैप 295 kg. इसका वैल्यू करीब करीब 61,000 रुपीज था. तो ये ऑल डेलिक्वेंट ऑफिशियल्स टेकन अप अंडर DNR रूल. ये एक और केस है जो अकाउंटिंग एंड डिस्पोजल. Preventive check on irregularity in accounting and disposal of released material were conducted in the unit. ये this work was गेज कन्वर्सन में रिलीज हो रहा था. मीटर गेज का रेल और ब्रॉड गेज लग रहा था. इसमें करीब 800 मेट्रिक टन ऑफ रेल वैल्यूइंग अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2 करोड़ वाज फाउंड अनअकाउंटेड और 559 मेट्रिक टन ऑफ रेल वाज फाउंड अनऑफर्ड. Non-maintenance of numerical ledger DMTR by the unit. MS returned from sectional PWIs were not in practice. ये इंजीनियरिंग कोड का एक पैरा है 1414, उसमें ये मैंडेटरी है. नॉन सबमिशन ऑफ क्वार्टरली रिटर्न MAS since last 2 years, engineering code para 1446. Non-maintenance of payment notebook since last 2 years. Besides that, unit in charge provided the list of put-up material prepared as per PCD or register. यहाँ stock verification was also due for last 2 years. एक ये केस स्टडी है जिसमें द ऑक्शन कंडक्टिंग ऑफिसर, इसमें लोको था. 3 तरह का लोको था. लॉट नंबर A ऑफ स्क्रैप कंडक्ट BG लोको इसको 3 times ट्राई किया गया, नो बिड आया. Then he reduced the reserve price by 11% without recording any region. उसके बाद 2 लोग को और आया, लॉट नंबर बी और सी. थर्ड राउंड में ऑक्शन किया गया, लेकिन उसका भी इन्होंने रिजर्व प्राइस को 10.43% लोअर कर दिया. और इनिशियली 81,000 था, 81 lakhs था, और उसको घटा के 72 lakhs कर दिया. और the lot was sold at 72 lakhs something, some slightly more value. सेम ऑफिसर, एक सिग्नलिंग केबल का लॉट था, उसमें रिजर्व प्राइस को he has reduced it by 45%, 45.33% in a time span of 8 days. और initially reserve price was 1,50,000 per ton, but in the second auction he reduced it to 65,200. And surprisingly, the auction mein the final sold rate is 1,12,000. So he has done it without mentioning any region. ये I will like to point out here कि अब जब ये e-auction आ गया है, when e-auction has come, so people are hesitant to write. They are not maintaining any register, reserve price register for selling the lots. They think that अब तो सारा चीज आ गया है, then on the catalog वो ऑनलाइन ही वहाँ पे स्पेस नहीं होता सफिशिएंट, तो दे थिंक कि ये रिकॉर्ड करने की जरूरत नहीं है. बट बाद में जब एनालिसिस होता है तो इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू एक्सप्लेन इन्होंने क्यों कम किया, और जब कम किया तो इतना ज्यादा रेट में कैसे ये सेल हो गया. तो हमने अपने यहाँ एक सिस्टम कराया है, सिस्टम इम्प्रूवमेंट जारी कराया है हमारे पीसीआर में. पीसीएमएम ने सिस्टम इम्प्रूवमेंट एक जारी किया है. आई विल रिक्वेस्ट ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स कि अपने यहाँ चेक कर लें वो. और इसमें जो आरपी रजिस्टर है दैट हैज टू बी देयर सो दैट की दे कीप प्रॉपर रिकॉर्ड. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. How to avoid? Already I have told, maintain RP register, calculate RP in justified manner, fix RP in reasonable manner, proper inspection of material. For any change in RP, proper justification is to be required. This is another case study. ये भी very common, but इसमें भी I will like to alert all the participants. This is post-contractual change in inspection clause. That is very important. From one depot, one randomly selected material aluminum checkered plate sample was sent for lab test as per its specification in purchase order. Material was found substandard in lab test report. इसमें inspection clause of material was changed at post tender stage. So during investigation stage, it was found that the urgency letter was issued. एक रिक्वेस्ट आया था सप्लायर का, देन एसएजी ऑफिसर इज कॉम्पिटेंट, इन्होंने इंस्पेक्शन क्लॉज पूरे क्वांटिटी का चेंज कर दिया. ऐसे केसेज में इट इज एडवाइजेबल कि अगर बहुत ज़्यादा अर्जेंट हो मटेरियल तो मिनिमम क्वांटिटी जो भी आपका हो, 1 महीने का 2 महीने का, उसमें आप कंसाइनी इंस्पेक्शन कर दें और बल्क क्वांटिटी का आप छोड़ दें। जो थर्ड पार्टी टीपीआई इंस्पेक्शन है, दे शुड कंटिन्यू। How to avoid SIL suggested with advice which are here under as change in inspection clause for full quantity as post tender stage may be avoided to ensure quality of material. Also, in genuine unavoidable circumstances, inspection clause may be changed for bare minimum quantity to fulfill the urgent crisis of material. Start well in time to avoid such a situation of urgency which is repeatedly occurring in procurement of said item. ये केस स्टडी है irregularity in outsourcing of security guards at railway hospital. Nowadays, this outsourcing contract is prevalent everywhere. So, ये this case study relates to outsourcing of security guards at railway hospital. इसमें we have done a PC preventive check regarding irregularity in outsourcing of security guards deployed at Central Super Specialty Hospital. इसमें जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था वो 2 साल का था, 3.16 करोड़ वैल्यू का। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एग्रीमेंट के अनुसार 40 सिक्योरिटी गार्ड्स प्रोवाइड करने थे। उसमें एक सुपरवाइजर है, सिक्योरिटी सुपरवाइजर, जो मॉर्निंग शिफ्ट में रहेगा 9 o'clock to 17 hours। 14 सिक्योरिटी गार्ड्स 6 to 14 hours, 14 security guards 14 to 22 hours and 11 security guards 22 to 6 hours। लेकिन जब हम लोगों ने प्रिवेंटिव चेक किया तो अटेंडेंस रजिस्टर से ये पता चला कि ए और बी शिफ्ट में जो 14, 14, 28 और 29 देने थे, उसकी जगह ओनली 25 या 26 गार्ड वहां प्रेजेंट थे। और ये लोग क्या करते थे कि जो भी डेफिशिएंसी होता था उसको नाइट शिफ्ट में दिखा देते थे। नाइट शिफ्ट में एवरीबॉडी नोज कि कोई चेक करने वाला है नहीं, और हॉस्पिटल में क्या है कि नाइट शिफ्ट में ज्यादा लोगों की जरूरत नहीं है, इसलिए इसको इंटेंशनली कम रखा गया था। दिन में लोग आते हैं ओपीडी में तो काफी भीड़ भाड़ रहती है, ज्यादा लोगों की जरूरत होती है। इन लोगों ने डिफिशियंसी को कवर अप करने के लिए एक्स्ट्रा गार्ड को नाइट शिफ्ट में दिखा दिया। The practice of maintaining 40 guards daily was being shown on paper, but instead of giving more manpower in daytime, contractor was showing more manpower in the night shift, thinking that nobody will find it out. एक और उसके मन में ये था कि नाइट शिफ्ट में लोग दिन में काम वाम करके आते हैं, कहीं से आदमी लाएंगे और थोड़ी देर खड़ा कर देंगे और फिर उसको वापस भेज देंगे। It was revealed that guards' attendance register were not at all verified by railway supervisor for previous 8 months. किसी सुपरवाइजर ने उसको 8 महीने से चेक नहीं किया था। Despite discrepancies, the performance sheets showed full deployment and invoices were submitted for full payment without deductions or penalties. It was also revealed that as per the agreement, all guards were to undergo a 1-week orientation course by RPF prior to deployment. इनको 1 वीक का ओरिएंटेशन कोर्स करना था आरपीएफ के साथ डिप्लॉयमेंट के पहले। Only 34 guards underwent training while 12 guards were deployed without completing mandatory orientation by RPF. इसमें आउट ऑफ 46 केवल 34 गार्ड्स करवाया गया था, 12 गार्ड्स को तो ऐसे ही डिप्लॉय कर दिया गया था. Lapses were found in outsourced security guards attendance monitoring and their deployment. इसमें हम लोगों ने DR action against the concerned supervisor has been recommended. Recovery penalty against the firm as per contract has been asked. This case study is regarding irregularity in disposal of PSC sleepers. A preventive check was conducted by a vigilance team on source information regarding scrutiny of disposal of PSC sleeper in a division. As per Railway Board letter number 2015/RS S709/5 dated 18/6/2019, CT of Zonal Railways can decide to sell scrap PSC sleeper on as is where is basis. जहां पे कंक्रीट स्लीपर्स जो हैं वो बहुत हेवी होते हैं, तो इसमें ये डिसीजन दिया गया कि जहां पे उनको स्टॉक करके रखा गया है ट्रैक से निकालने के बाद, जो कंडेमेबल है, वहां पे एज इज वेयर इज बेसिस पे उसका डिस्पोजल करना है. In case permission of breaking the same on railway premises is required, the same can be done on case-to-case basis with concurrence of their associated finance. अगर उसको तोड़कर बेचने की जरूरत है तो with the concurrence of their associated finance, case-to-case basis में अप्रूवल इसको दिया जा सकता है. In this particular case, custodian disposed the sleeper by awarding quotation contract of breaking of sleeper and sell the insert thereafter. Assessment of quotation value was approved by senior DN. No urgency was mentioned. अब इनका कोटेशन का पावर 5 लाख का ही है, बट इन्होंने 5 लाख से ज्यादा का कोटेशन दे दिया, अवार्ड कर दिया फॉर ब्रेकिंग. ये वो लेटर है रेलवे बोर्ड का, जिसमें अगर आप यहाँ देखेंगे एग्जिस्टिंग से रिवाइज्ड में, इसमें वही चीज लिखा हुआ है. सिटी ऑफ जोनल रेलवे कैन डिसाइड टू सेल स्क्रैप PSC स्लीपर on as it varies basis. In case permission of breaking the same on railway premises is required, the same can be done on case-to-case basis with the concurrence of their associated finance. Subject to A. Joint survey and initial accounting to be done by custodian along with accounts representative. B. Disposal to be done only through e-auction. अब यहाँ पे e-auction एक वर्ड लिखा हुआ है जिसमें e-auction से ही बेचना है. C. After breaking the slippers, debris should be cleared by the purchaser and thereafter the delivery of released steel wires and inserts will be affected. तो यहाँ पे e-auction की बात लिखी हुई है. In this case, the custodian dismantled the slipper and subsequently sold the insert on quotation basis instead through e-auction. Initially, accounts returned the proposal of concurrence with several observations and later on gave with certain stipulations which was not complied by executive department. तो अकाउंट्स ने जो कंकरेंस दिया था विथ सर्टेन स्टिपुलेशंस, इसको भी कंप्लाई नहीं किया गया. इसमें हम लोगों ने एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्शन लिया और DR एक्शन लिया अगेंस्ट टू SSC. एक सिस्टम इम्प्रूवमेंट लेटर वी हैव इशूड टू PC regarding the disposal of PSC slipper. It was advised that they are to be disposed through e-auction only in terms of board's instruction. This case study is regarding a trap of an official from personnel department. A source information was received from an employee who was selected for a higher post outside railways. Upon applying for technical resignation, he was approached by an official, office superintendent of personnel department, who demanded a bribe of 30,000 for processing his resignation application. The resignation process was being deliberately delayed without any justified reasons. To catch the delinquent official red-handed, a trap was laid by the vigilance team All formalities required under para 518 of IRVM 2018 were thoroughly observed prior to the executing the trap. A pre-trap memorandum was prepared by the vigilance team in presence of independent witnesses and the complainant. Detailed particulars of the government currency GC notes intended for payment of the bribe, including their unique serial number, were duly mentioned in the pre-trap memorandum. The complainant was provided with the first installment of rupees 15,000 in the form of the GC notes as pre-documented in the pre-trap memorandum. During the course of the trap, both the complainant and the independent witnesses witnessed the delinquent officials demanding bribe money and subsequently accepting the bribe amount from the complainant. Following the acceptance of the bribe, the vigilance team immediately confronted the delinquent official and recovered a total amount of 29,500 from its possession. 15,000 was the trap money. उसके अलावा some 14,500 money excess उसके पास था. The unique numbers, denominations and quantity of the government currency notes amounting to rupees 15,000 were found to be exactly as detailed in the pre-trap memorandum. The entire trap procedures were duly witnessed by independent witnesses, the complainant and an RPF staff member. The ADRM of the division was promptly informed about the trap and further proceedings were conducted in the presence of the concerned ADRM. Now, this case study is regarding a complaint against an RPF official. A complaint was received against an RPF official from CBC under PDP resolution 2004. There is a resolution of PDP in which if anybody makes a complaint to CBC and prima facie if it is found verified and correct, then CBC directs the concerned zonal CBO to immediately investigate and process the case and investigate the matter within a very short time. The allegation stated that the RPF official had accumulated asset disproportionate to his known legal income and acquired multiple immovable properties without disclosing them to the department. इसमें detail of the property was given. Therefore, we could proceed further. तो जब प्रॉपर्टी डिटेल और ये हम लोगों ने वेरीफाई किया तो धीरे धीरे बातें खुलने लगी. फिर हम लोगों ने स्टेटमेंट लिया उस कंसर्न्ड आरपीएफ ऑफिशियल का. देन ही एक्सेप्टेड कि हाँ ये प्रॉपर्टी मेरा है. देन हम लोगों ने आईपीआर चेक किया, उससे स्टेटमेंट लिया, तो चीजें सामने आई. अपॉन इन्वेस्टिगेशन फॉलोइंग पॉइंट्स वेर ऑब्जर्व्ड. The official furnished incorrect details in its immovable property return IPR. जो IPR उसने जमा किया था ईयरली, उसमें इनकरेक्ट डिटेल्स था. उस पे वो दिखा रहा था कि नॉन एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड है, उसके पास लोकेशन दिया हुआ था, प्लॉट नंबर दिया हुआ था. बट जब हमारी टीम गई उस प्लॉट पे तो वहां पे लैंड की जगह G+3 रेसिडेंशियल स्ट्रक्चर मिला, उस पे बना हुआ. जब उनसे पूछा गया तो उन्होंने कहा कि हाँ ये तो बना हुआ है. देन ही गेव सम कि माय ब्रदर इन लॉ हैज कंस्ट्रक्टेड दिस एंड इट वाज नॉट इन्फॉर्म्ड टू द गवर्नमेंट. The official did not intimate the construction of the house to the government, violating of Rule 18 of the Railway Service Conduct Rule 1966, which mandates prior intimation and declaration for the acquisition or construction of immovable property. The official claimed that he borrowed funds from relatives without any formal agreement. Initially, he told his brother-in-law has constructed this. Then he said, "Nahi, I have borrowed money from him." Then we asked, for such a huge amount, you cannot borrow it. simply you have to formally make an agreement. This is also written in conduct rule. Then he failed to provide supporting documents or to inform the government as mandated, thereby violating Rule 18 and Rule 16, Para 4 of the Railway Service Conduct Rule 1966. These constituted violation of Section 145 of RPF Rule 1987 for RPF officials. इसमें I would like to point it out here. Ensure correct disclosure of all property details when submitting annual property returns. This is very important. I will request all the participants to follow this. Then promptly notify the government regarding any sale, purchase or construction of immovable property. Report financial transaction with close relatives to the government whenever the amount exceeds the prescribed limit. Another case is irregularity in implementation of UDM. Nowadays, board is directing to maintain all the transaction of material in UDM. So, Railway Board by letter number 4/4/2024 directed that maintenance of physical ledgers for material should be discontinued immediately. It was decided that after 1/6/2024, all consignees should update their inventory on UDM. Only e-ledgers in UDM shall be considered authentic. The stock on UDM will be considered for procurement decisions. The stock verification of the consignee depot will be done on e-ledger on UDM. So we have been given the task कि एक थ्रस्ट एरिया होता है हमारा विजिलेंस का, उस थ्रस्ट एरिया में है ये कि यूडीएम पे शिफ्टिंग हुआ कि नहीं फ्रॉम फिजिकल लेजर्स, ये हम लोग को चेक करना है. इसमें वी आर नॉट वेरी हार्श, अभी तक हम लोग बहुत हार्श नहीं है. आवर एफर्ट्स आर कि लोग उस पे शिफ्ट कर जाएं सो दैट कि डिजिटाइज्ड हो जाए. So during vigilance check, it was observed that the UDM has still not been implemented in many units. All material transactions were being carried out manually and physical ledgers were maintained. तो ये अभी शिफ्ट करना है. आई थिंक ऑल द रेलवेज आर quickly shifting towards UDM. Several units were not updating old inventories on UDM. It was also found that many units were not maintaining the e-ledgers for release or scrap materials on UDM. It was also found that after transfer of custodians from units, the UDM account is not transferred to the present incumbent. इसमें एक और इशू है. दिस when we shift to UDM, board has mandated that the warranty should be lodged through UDM, material warranty. During check in different units, it was found that warranty claims were not being lodged through the UDM portal by the consignee. Multiple letters were sent directly to the firm requesting rectification or replacement of material, which is a complete violation of Railway Board guidelines. Many SSAs were taken up under DR action for not lodging warranty claim on UDM based on vigilance checks. तो इसमें all material transactions including those involving released and scrap materials must be conducted exclusively through the UDM system. Warranty claims must be submitted exclusively via the UDM platform as per Railway Board guidelines issued after 30/11/22 with no correspondence through letters permitted. This case study is regarding irregularity in IME. A source information was received from a candidate. एक कैंडिडेट ही हम लोगों के पास आया who was selected, वो उसका मेडिकल होना था, इनिशियल मेडिकल एग्जामिनेशन। तो उसने बताया, कंप्लेन किया कि उससे 3,000 रुपये ब्राइब मनी मांगा जा रहा है फॉर गेटिंग फिटनेस इन IME। तो हम लोगों ने एक ट्रैप का प्लान किया। In order to trap the delinquent official red-handed, the trap was laid. Prior to the trap, all formalities as laid down in para 518 of IRBM were ensured. A pre-trap memorandum was prepared by the vigilance team in presence of independent witness and the complainant. Particulars of government currency, GC notes for paying the bribe to the delinquent employee on demand was mentioned in the pre-trap memorandum, including the unique. In the course of trap, it was witnessed by complainant and independent witness that the CMS of the hospital concerned, he was himself indulged in demanding and accepting the bribe money from the candidates, either personally or through his subordinate HA to declare them fit. जब ट्रांजैक्शन हो गया, उसके बाद सारे कैंडिडेट से ट्रांजैक्शन होने के बाद एक HA ने पैसा कलेक्ट किया और वो पैसा ले जाके वो CMS साहब के चेम्बर में, CMS साहब के बैग में उसने डाल दिया। विजिलेंस टीम उस इंडिपेंडेंट विटनेस के साथ वो देख रही थी। द सेड CMS kept the money collected from the candidates in his bag. He further kept the said bag in his car with the help of his subordinate and locked the car. Then vigilance team challenged the CMS and recovered the bag containing the bribe money. A total of 1,13,000 was recovered from his bag. The unique number of GC notes, denomination and quantity is said rupees 3,000 totally matched with those as stipulated in the pre-trap memorandum. The trap was witnessed by independent witnesses, complainant, the said HA of the hospital. The entire money recovered from the bag was seized. DRM of the division was intimated about the trap. Further proceedings of the trap witnessed by senior officers of the division, and thanks to the concerned DRM, he himself witnessed the proceedings, further proceedings. This case study is regarding irregularity in accountal of ACs, air conditioners. A preventive check was conducted on the aspect of payment without proper accountal of new as well as released air conditioners. The work detail is Energy Performance Agreement. EPR was done with Messrs Energy Efficiency Service Limited. 318 existing ACs were to be replaced. Energy efficient ACs were to be provided. A counter of only 287 number ACs was done. Balance 26 number of ACs were missing. No records of ACs, serial number, make, capacity, location, date of receipt, procurement details, etc. found. Payment was processed without ensuring proper completion of work, as well without ensuring proper accountal of all 313 new as well as old released AC in asset registers. Loss of railway revenue, जो 26 AC मिसिंग था, उसका करीब 9.66 लाख था। देन जो रिलीज्ड AC था 280, वो करीब 16.82 लाख था। तो ये टोटल जो है ये अराउंड 25 लाख का अकाउंटल का इशू था। Major penalty proceeding against 2 officials have been initiated for the above lapses. एक ये है, this is regarding wrong claim of children education allowance. This is very prevalent everywhere. It is there, and our problem is that we normally don't touch these issues. It is the role of executives only. They should see it. But sometimes we go on exceptional report and the claim of highest value, we just check it and investigate further. डिवीजन में एक दो केसेज हम लोग लेते हैं जिसमें बहुत हाई वैल्यू रिम्बर्समेंट का होता है, वो हम लोग चेक करते हैं बिकॉज इट इज इन आवर ट्रस्ट एरिया ऑल्सो. So, a preventive investigation was conducted on the aspect of irregularity in the payment of children education allowance in a division of EC Railway. During the investigation, it was found that a railway employee had submitted a claim for his son's education child allowance for the financial year 21-22. The bona fide certificate submitted by the employee was found to be fake when verified from the concerned school. When we get it verified, it was declared fake. During the vigilance investigation, it was also found out that the said employee has also received payment for the next financial year 22-23 by submitting a similar bona fide certificate. Nowadays, this bona fide certificate is only submitted. पहले ये बिल जमा करना होता था पूरे फाइनेंशियल ईयर का. स्कूल यूज्ड टू इशू ए बिल. This amount has been submitted, deposited as a school fee or hostel charges. But nowadays the rule has been changed. Only a bona fide certificate is to be submitted, and that bona fide certificate is also people are getting it prepared in fake name or some fake certificate. Vigilance took cognizance of the matter and recommended a punishment against the guilty employee along with reduction of wrong irregular payment of rupees 1.02 lakhs. इसमें next is irregularity in execution of retaining wall of a platform. A work of cement concrete retaining wall M20 of the average height of 2.75 meter was constructed at platform. Drawing for the same has been approved for CC M20. As per drawing, height of the retaining wall is 500 mm plus 1 meter or as per site condition. Now here the drawing itself, it is written the height 500 mm plus 1 meter or as per site condition. Now the site condition word is very big. During check, it was found that the drawing width of the retaining wall is 300 mm at top and 500 mm in the bottom. The height of the retaining wall mentioned in the drawing is 1.5 meter. 500 plus 1 meter, 1.5 meter or as per actual. But during construction, the height of the wall was increased to 2.57 meter. अब देखिए ये बनाना था 1.5 मीटर और टॉप बिट था 300 मिलीमीटर और बॉटम बिट 500 मिलीमीटर. बट ये जो एज पर साइट कंडीशन लिखा हुआ है, इसमें जो IOW कंसर्न थे और जो कंसर्न इंजीनियर्स थे, उन्होंने ध्यान नहीं दिया और इसको एक्चुअल बना दिया हाइट इसका 2.57 मीटर. टॉप बिट्स को लगभग उतना ही रखा, 300 की जगह 310 और बॉटम को इसको रिड्यूस करके 365 कर दिया. एज ए रिजल्ट क्या हुआ कि कुछ दिनों के बाद जो है ये वॉल जो है वो टॉपल कर गया. और टॉपल करने के बाद देखिए ये एक्चुअल ड्राइंग है. दिस इज द ड्राइंग विच वाज इशूड. इस पे बनाना था. इस 500 mm यहाँ था विड्थ नीचे, ये 300 और हाइट 1 मीटर प्लस 500 mm और एज पर साइड। अब और एज पर साइड की जगह इन्होंने बना दिया इसको 2.57 मीटर। दैट टू ये सीमेंट कंक्रीट वाल है विदाउट रिइंफोर्समेंट। रिजल्ट क्या हुआ? रिजल्ट ये हुआ, कुछ दिनों के बाद जो है ये वाल ये स्थिति हो गई। बाद में हम लोगों ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन करके इसमें कई लोगों को टेकअप किया। So with this, I have come to the end of this thing, but last but not the least, ये कुछ हमारे तरफ से कुछ चीजें हैं जिसको याद रखनी है। फोकस ऑन इंटीग्रिटी एंड ऑनेस्टी। पहला थीम ये है, इंटीग्रिटी इज द करेंसी ऑफ ट्रस्ट, ऑनेस्टी इज ए चॉइस, corruption is a habit. Remember this, the honest path is the clearest one. Character is best shown when nobody is watching. This is the most important line. कोई नहीं देख रहा है, बट आपको उसी समय character is best shown when nobody is watching. Bright future awaits the honest. Shady past haunt the corrupt. Then focus on fighting corruption. Say no to corruption. Commit to the nation. Corruption doesn't belong. Let's make it gone. Expose corruption. Empower democracy. Fight corruption. Build the nation. Focus on collective action. Already said, vigilance is our shared responsibility. United against corruption. Build a brighter future. Empowered by choice, united by voice. Fight corruption, make a noise. Together we stand, corruption cannot land. Every action counts, stop corruption as it bounds. So thank you very much.
I would like to thank Shri P.K. Sinha sir for sparing his time and taking this webinar. And sir has extensively covered all the topics related to what forms the vigilance angle, what are the situations which will create a vigilance angle, then regarding the agreed and secret list. Then he has extensively covered many case studies covering almost all departments, engineering, then stores, medical, then other RPF, then commercial, and what are the findings and what we can learn from them, what are the system improvements. So this is insight for all of us who are working in the field to learn from these case studies, what are the lessons and how we can improve our working. And at the end, sir has also given some listings that how we can clear this, be aware of this vigilance angle, and it will certainly going to improve our working as well as our conduct also, so that we do not create any situations which demand this kind of vigilance angle or any kind of panel provisions. So thank you very much, sir. And I also would like to thank all the participants who have joined in this webinar. And I am hopeful that they will get some takeaways from this webinar, because then the only purpose will be served. And we will try to inculcate some of the aspects and some of the learnings which we have taken from today's webinar into our working and to improve our working. and improve our railway environment and railway system. Thank you very much, sir.